find a pattern you love, you make it again and again. That's what happened with the Bridgette Dolman top from Ellie Mac. I've made this one in several styles and even given it as gifts. It has 3 different neck options, 3 different sleeve lengths, and you can even hem the sleeves, or my favorite, a long banded cuff. So nice. I love the banded bottom, but if you leave off the band and just hem it, it makes for a really nice, smooth, tucked in shirt. It's one of those patterns that's simple, flattering on every body type, and it's easy to wear. And best of all, easy to make. I actually made this navy one to go with my 2 rectangle skirt when I realized I didn't have anything that matched it. So I decided I might as well do a sew along. It's one of my favorite patterns. So grab your fabric and let's sew together. Hi, I'm Emily with Threaded Journey. And if you need a great place to get knit fabric, check out where I get mine in the description. I'm going to be kind of skipping over some of just the basics you do with every pattern and just stopping and showing you the things that are a little bit different about the Bridgette Dolman top versus a regular top. So if you need help with any of the other just basic steps, if you're stuck like how to do your shoulder seams, that kind of thing, then check out my playlist. I will link it up here, and that way you can see step by step how to do some of those other things. My shoulder seams are finished and pressed, and I've removed my tape that was marking the right side of the fabric. We're taking the sleeve pattern, right sides together. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, and we are just going to stitch that in. After you have the sleeve on, pressed, and then we're going to stitch the side seam. Now this is before we put on any kind of tall long sleeve cuff or anything like that. Time to put our cuffs on. So my shirt is wrong side out, and I ironed a crease halfway across, and I ironed a crease halfway across over here as well. Now I'm going to put my cuff inside my sleeve with my seam and my seam matching. So this one is not really going to be stretched very much at all. It's pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio. All right, now it's all in. We'll just stitch it with a stretch stitch. Sleeves are done. I just used a really narrow zigzag stitch that was a little bit longer and just kind of slightly pulled my fabric, not a lot, just a little, as I was stitching, and that allows for a stretch right there. Time to move on to the waistband. I created a memory fold by folding wrong sides together, ironing. Then I flipped them both open, put them right sides together, and I am going to stitch these side seams, and I'm making basically a cuff for the waist. The waistband is not a 1-to-1 ratio, so you are going to need to stretch it. It tells you in the instructions to find the quarter points on your waistband as well as on your shirt. If you have never done a waistband or something where you're having to stretch it to fit it in and you are struggling, do more than 4 points. You'll be able to match those up easier. Whatever works for you, use your teeth if needed. I've had to do that before. Make sure you get all 3 pieces lined up. That bottom piece wants to hide down there, so be careful with that. And when I put anything I'm stretching to fit in the machine, I always put the part that stretches on the top so that I'm able to tug that a little bit easier, and I am less likely to stretch the piece that doesn't need to be stretched. We don't want to stretch our bodice at all. We're going to use a stretch stitch again. I have made my neckband according to the directions by cutting out, marking that V, stitching, snipping, cutting it folding it, I have just run like a little 1/8 of an inch stitch right here along the edge, and you probably have one side that looks a little bit nicer than the other. Whichever you want, you're going to pick that to be your right side. So I'm going to choose that this is my right side. So I'm going to do all my markings and stuff on my wrong side. Marking 1/4 of an inch. There's my sew line. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And my cross line here is that middle of my good side. So I'm going to put kind of a pin there where those meet. And the instructions say to stay stitch. I don't want to stay stitch. I don't like stay stitching. I know it has a purpose and occasionally I do it. For the most part, I super struggle with it. So I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to mark my 1/4 of an inch, my stitch line here. And I'm going to mark my 1/4 of an inch. And that's my meat line. I'm going to take my pin, which when you stuck it through, make sure it's lined up on the other side, that it is right in your seam. Not adjust it a little bit because that'll bug you later. And I'm putting my pin right here where those meet. And this is why it's helpful, because you can actually push your pin down into your ironing board. We're going to twist it. I am not cutting that yet. I'm lining this up and I'm going to take it and I'm going to stitch right here, and I'm going to stop my needle right there at that meat line where that pin is. Then I'm going to leave my needle down, lift my presser foot up, move this to the side and clip that at that point while it is still in my sewing machine. Then I'm going to take it while my sewing needle is still in there and twist it to the other side and sew up 1 inch. My needle is right there on that line, doing 1/4 of an inch. I am going to back stitch there, go to where that green ball is, right there where that pin is where I'm going to stop. I stopped there. I lifted my presser foot up. I've twisted my fabric around so it's facing me. That's easier to get my scissors in there. I'm just kind of lifting up that neckband because I don't want to cut that. I am cutting that shirt underneath right at the V. So I'm not going to be able to go too far because my needle's in the way. I just need to make just a little tiny snip. I'm going to turn my shirt back. And I'm going to be able to move my neckband now because that needle is still in there. And I'm going to be able to line it up. Make sure my shirt underneath here is flat. Line it up and keep stitching. Just that little inch or so. And when I flip it, a beautiful V. Finishing the neckband is pretty easy. You're just going to find the middle back of your top and the middle back of your neckband. Pin those together, just stretch everything else to fit and stitch along. And then I always like to top stitch. I just think it makes the neckband fit a little bit nicer around, but that's completely optional. I really love how this came together. And I came up with how to make a V-neck so much easier than any way I've ever seen it. I hope you found a few tips as you watch this. Be sure to check out my 2 rectangle skirt video. This top pairs perfectly with that skirt. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.